name's Rachel. I'm the founder and director of Colour Me in Wellbeing. I'm also an art psychotherapist that specialises in emotional psychological trauma. Now, I just did a little bit about what is trauma, and we define trauma as being in a situation where there's no means of escape, rather than defining what the situation is, because people respond to different situations in different ways. Trauma is the inability to escape and have a voice or a choice in what's happening to you. So, how does trauma work, and what does it look like in the clinical setting? Now, trauma is a nervous system response, which means that your brain goes into high alert. And when your brain is in high alert, certain other parts of the brain shut down. And this is a survival mechanism. And the parts of the brain that shut down are your thinking, rational side. And what gets activated are your senses. So everything becomes hyper alert, like sight, sound, touch. All those senses are activated. Adrenaline's pumping through your body. It's the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. This is so that you don't go into shock. Now, it's your brain's way of keeping you alive. Now, it can become really, really dangerous when this brain of ours interprets situations that are not life-threatening but are pervasively damaging. And then what happens is, in order to survive, we create what we call parts. This is mainly in emotional and psychological trauma that is complex, which is pervasive, ongoing, not just one-off events, such as family, education, situations that are all the time that you have no means of escape and you're being distressed in some way. Now, the way the brain copes with that, or the psyche, is to compartmentalize, and what we call a fracture. And that fracture means we develop an escape mechanism, which is called dissociation. Now, dissociation is a way that we escape internally within ourselves because we cannot escape externally or practically. So dissociation means we are there in body, but our mind is somewhere else. We have gone somewhere to escape a difficult situation. So somebody might look at you and think, oh, she's here, she's looking at me, she's engaging. But actually, I could be sitting on a beach drinking a pina colada, enjoying the sunshine in my imagination. That's called dissociation. That becomes more complex the more dissociated I become, the more significant the trauma becomes. Because it's, say for instance, I'm being repeatedly sexually abused, for instance, I'm going to break even further. I'm going to just go on a beach. I'm going to completely change who I am because I cannot cope with what's going on with me. So what I'm going to do is create a completely different part that's going to be called a protector. And that protector is going to be a little piece of me that pops up so I do not have to deal with what's going on right now. I am not just on a beach, I am someone else. And the more trauma and the more dysfunctional and traumatizing the experience is, the more complex these parts become, and the more of them we have. And the more extreme the trauma is, the more parts that are there. And what will happen is, in the most extreme form of complex trauma, we will have things like personality disorders and other things called DID, which is dissociative personality disorder, where people have completely different personalities. These personalities are not talking to each other, and they can be doing completely different things at different times whenever that personality gets activated. So that's how trauma, in terms of personality and psyche, would be experienced. So the mildest form would be a bit of dissociation. I'm bored, I don't really like what's going on, I'm going to sit on a beach, drink a pina colada and pretend I'm engaging, to I have completely broken down, developed whole new personalities to protect myself from the reality of what's going on around me. or to me. Hope that gives you a bit of in-depth, and then the art materials can help with what we call integration.